From Sydney to Hamilton, find your way on the Great Miami Riverway.
So I have very fond memories growing up around the river. My first catfish I ever caught was out of the river with my dad and brother right under the bridge. And we rode down and to look at the river before the bike path was even there. And now I take my two daughters who are 7 and 5 and kind of reinvest in the river through raising them along the bike path and fishing.
For the Great Miami River, for me, as a teenager, I used to tube out of Port Jefferson all the way into Sydney. You kind of don't see that anymore. You get more kayaks now than anything. But being able to hit some of the waters in a tube when I was a kid was definitely enjoyable.
By adding a connection on our bike path to Franklin, we're adding 340 miles of bikeable lanes for our citizens in Middletown and for others to come join to live, work, and play even happier.
We have an awful lot of people here in town that have canoes, and a lot of people use the river here in town. We have people that float down from Troy or Piqua, and they'll stop here and tip. They'll come into town, they'll eat at our restaurants, shop at our history shops and all that. So it's a win-win for the city.
One of the things that I'm super excited about, and I talked about this upon becoming the mayor, that I wanted to see something happen to the old DP&L plant that sits on the south end of town. It served a great need at one time, but it's been decommissioned, it's been vacant, and it became an eyesore. And it's such a large space. It sits in Miamisburg, Miami Township, and Carlisle, that has so many possibilities that we've discovered what developing along the river actually does.
The river, being able to have Lock 9 Park in Piqua, coming down to Treasure Island Park in Troy, and then ending in the Tip City area at a boat launch and kayak area along the river. Miami County, the river trail corridor is truly a spoke and on the wheel of our economic engine here in Miami County.
It's a great area to have set up. Many beer vendors use the backdrop of the power plant, and the patrons get to walk around up here on the recreational trail, enjoy beers, look at the river, and we actually have some lamps as well that are lit down in the river, so you kind of get a ambiance of fire on the water.
We have a park in downtown Troy where we have a stage set up and we do outdoor concerts. I love that. We have such a busy summer. We've got Porch Fest coming in September, concert series. We have our floating tents on the river, Float Troy. There's just such a wealth of activity in the spring through the fall. Even during the winter, we were doing updates as to what you could do in the winter. It was amazing.
In 2022, this is the 50th anniversary of Miss Lucia Hobart Bravo from Troy, Ohio, who actually constructed the first mile of the recreational trail, and that was in 1971.
Definitely a youthful vibe around here. We're very active. We have a huge community park. The school district, we have outstanding relationship with the school district, and they just passed a levy for the first time in a long time. And that school levy is going to do great things for our community. It's bringing in a brand new high school, renovating the current high school to a junior high, and building 3 new elementaries. And along with that, to complement the school growth, we're working to develop a brand new subdivision for residential options. So that'll bring a new youthful vitality into the community. We have a great community park, great sports complex, and they certainly utilize the bike path and river often.
Actually, I see all ages, all demographics. Last night, for example, they were filming a movie at 8 o'clock in downtown Hamilton. And I didn't know about it. I'm walking around going, wow, there's something going on over there. So I walked over there, they're filming a movie. Now, because of our architecture, both Main Street, downtown, and some of our living areas, we do have a fair amount of films being produced here, but I just think that this is a town where so many folks want to, if not live here, they want to visit here.
Well, when looking at our young families and, quite frankly, people of all ages, the riverfront is an extreme draw, not just for residents, but also for people who want to come visit. And on that same vein, we can also attract employers to come to Middletown because they want their workers to be happy and to live near work as well. So it's something that can draw both residents and employers.
We are the #1 manufacturing per capita county in the state of Ohio, But what we want is we want people to live here and love living here and to work. People are working here. We want people to come and live here. And that's all part of life, you know, being able to go to the parks and bike path and the Miami Riverway. I mean, those are all really wonderful things that families like to do. You like to live where you can do things as a family.
And we're ranked as one of the top 10 cities in the state, you know, as for our shopping and downtown area. And our whole downtown area is on the historical preservation list, so that helps too.
Look at the kinds of things that are happening in Dayton. Of course, the old space there for the fairgrounds. I mean, just last week, the city manager and I were having a great conversation with Buddy LaChance and talking about some of the greatness that's going to be moving in that space there. And I go back to days of old when it was the fairground. Days of old when being in the marching band, we would march there at the county fair. But looking at the millions of dollars, again, that's moving into that space with potential housing, recreation space, as well as housing that's going to be in that location. Right there close to UD, right there is a sort of a bridge between the west side, the south side of Dayton, bringing more and more people together.
Over the years, have been able to acquire property along the river from where the VFW post is on Marina Drive, clear down to the Low Dam area, and probably have more acreage than any community along the Great Miami River that's ready for redevelopment. We signed a contract with a McLaughlin group out of Denver, Colorado this past month to do the design phase of the Whitewater project, which will take place down at the Low Dam. And what this is going to be is we're going to reroute part of the river through an area that is going to create rapids for kayakers, from the most novice kayaker to the professional athlete kayaker that, you know, competes in Olympic type games. And then also there'll be a feature to this that'll be a wave for surfers. Those people that want to surf will create a wave down at the Low Dam. Yeah, we hope it'll be much more challenging than Dayton's Whitewater project that they have with their rapids.
Yeah, I don't think you should ever stop inventing yourself. I mean, I think you always have to look at what makes people want to come here, what makes people want to live here. We want people to be excited, you know, and Sydney is a great place, Ohio's a great place, Miami Valley's a great place, and we like to be part of that, and it's wonderful to be part of this group of towns and cities along the Great Miami Riverway.
We just opened recently in our Employment Opportunity Center out in Westtown. Used to be a former grocery store. We repurposed it, allowing those resources to be there. There'll be training, there'll be job resources to help people find jobs, and it's a community gathering place. We were told by the state of Ohio that that's the first such investment of that type in the last 10 years anywhere in the state of Ohio. So we follow through on the ideas that we have. We make it work.
Well, you know, Dayton has had just so many successes over the last 8 years. We've had the fastest job growth in the region. We're one of the top cities in the nation, you know, top 15, top 10 cities, all-American city, if you will. And what that means is not that everything is perfect, of course, but what it means is that we picked up more and more partners. And even with some of the tragedies that we've had, and the partners have helped us get through these challenges. And every time we have a crisis, we get stronger. And that's shown the resilience of the people here in Dayton and the partners. And then being here in the region with so many people understanding that the hub is so critical. And as we strengthen the hub, we strengthen the spokes, and of course that strengthens the wheels. So again, we're moving in the right direction as far as the city of Dayton is concerned.
We have a thriving and vibrant downtown. You will not see empty buildings in downtown Troy. We do have one that we're working on right now, but overall you will see reuse of buildings. We have new restaurants. We have Agave and Rye, Miso is coming, Moeller Brew Barn. We have the old bank that has been renovated and is now an event space. The Cass building is now apartments, and downtown living. We cannot get enough apartments downtown for people to live in. People want to be in downtown Troy to live, to do business. Our occupancy rates run at about 99%. We just do not have empty buildings. If you want to see a thriving downtown, come to downtown Troy.
Another thing that's driving people into Miamisburg is we have 2 brand new housing developments. It's been about 10 to 12 years since Miamisburg had a new subdivision. We now have 2. One is almost sold out. It's the Aberdeen subdivision out by Medlerview Elementary School, and there's a new one that's going to begin on Benner Road called Deer Valley, and we'll see activity there late this summer. But that's over 400 new homes in Miamisburg, and it's the new housing product that a lot of people have been looking for.
80 Acres is an international company. I mean, you'll read about 80 Acres in various business periodicals and the like. They chose Hamilton, Ohio. We rolled out the red carpet for them. They found us to be a responsive city team for what they needed, and as a result of that, they have, I believe, they're in 3 different buildings, maybe 4 different buildings in our city, including our city building. They have office and administrative spaces upstairs in this building. They have a vine growing, repurposed. They used to sell vehicles out of this place like back in the 50s, but they repurposed it into growing their fireworks tomatoes, I think is what they're growing there. And then they also have out on Tylersville Road, Business Enterprise Park, they have some grow there of kale and dill and greens such as that. But they're excited to be here. We're excited to have them here in this town. And it's a great partnership between 80 Acres and the city, but also other organizations and businesses. Great partnership. We've learned about the importance of partnerships, and it's working out for everybody.
Well, it gives you a focus, right? We all share something in common. And when we can step in someone else's shoe and we share a focus, you know, when we come together, ordinary people come together, we can do extraordinary things. But we first have to know one another and then work together and then have goals for the future. And I think that's what the Riverways are providing for our communities these days, a look to the future.
I'm Dan Foley, Director of the Great Miami Riverway, inviting you to find your way on the Great Miami Riverway.